The internet right now is all abuzz about AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. Now, I recently released a video talking about, hey, do we have AGI now because of O3? But there's still so much talk out there about AGI, whether it is or isn't. So I wanted to give you a more laid out academic thought about what AGI is and if we've achieved it or not. Now, of course, I don't represent all of academia. This is my perspective from someone that has a PhD. My PhD is in education. So I'm giving you that type of perspective, but I'm going to try to lay it out logically to give you this understanding. Now, I want you to, before I go further, I want you to understand that this is this academic perspective, but academia does not own AGI. Neither do the mathematicians, neither do the computer scientists. They don't own this definition of AGI. No, that comes from all of us. That comes from all of society. We're the ones that need to come together to think about, okay, what does this mean? What is a good definition? Let's think about it. What does it mean to be a real person with real intelligence? So there's lots of different aspects here to consider. But I'm going to lay it out academically, and then we can have this discussion, because the only way we can really move forward with all of this is by everyone's opinions, everyone's thoughts, considerations, contemplations. So definitely put that in the comments so that we can continue to have this discussion. Okay, so let's start everything out with just a general definition of intelligence. If we simply put in, give me a definition for intelligence from Google, it will go in and from the Oxford Language Dictionary say that intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. The ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Okay, so that gives us a good sort of baseline of understanding of what intelligence is in general. But what we're looking for is an overall definition of artificial general intelligence. So what is the definition? What does Google give us for that, right? And boom, notice it doesn't give it to us. And notice the result there from Google. It doesn't give us this perfectly defined word or a phrase because it doesn't exist. There's still lots of argument, of debate as far as, well, what is AGI? So this is an ongoing thing. This is why you see that the goalposts keep changing, right? Meaning that the definition keeps getting modified as we keep moving and developing this. Now, in my last video, I expressed that, hey, this can be expected and this should be okay with us. And I know a lot of us, me included, right? Because I go both ways with this, is that I don't want there to be changes with the definition. I want us to have a logical idea here. And then once we hit it, and then we can move forward from it. But the thing is that we are learning so much more about ourselves and what intelligence really means when we're applying it to a computer, when we're talking about AI and saying that it's an equivalent to a human's intelligence. So there's lots going on here. So let's look at some of the definitions of AGI from some of the big players here and see what they say about it. So here we have OpenAI's charter. And here it says that OpenAI's mission is to ensure that artificial general intelligence, AGI, by which we mean highly autonomous systems that outperform humans at most economically valuable work, benefits all of humanity. So that is a very short but broad definition, right? It's to say that, hey, this can do autonomously, economically valuable work. Well, who defines what economically valuable work? And it says autonomously, well, how much autonomousness are we talking about, right? Can it do everything automatically, some things automatically? To what extent? So that definition is nice and simple, but doesn't give us too much to go off of, right? So let's look at another definition. In an article from The Verge, we get a definition from Microsoft's AI boss, CEO Mustafa Suleyman, and he expresses a definition of artificial general intelligence by saying, AGI is a general purpose learning system that can perform well across all human level training environments. So knowledge work, by the way, that includes physical labor. A lot of my skepticism has to do with the progress and the complexity of getting things done in robotics. But yes, I can well imagine that we have a system that can learn without a great deal of handcrafted prior prompting to perform well in a variety or in a very wide range of environments. Now, I like this definition a bit more. leaving aside the robotics aspects for now, but the fact that he said that it could learn, now I think we're getting closer to what a good definition of artificial general intelligence should be. And this, if you remember, correlates well back with what intelligence is. Intelligence is this ability to learn, right? That was part of the definition. So I think that marries things up a lot better as far as having this understanding of what is artificial general intelligence. So now, if we think about, well, what did O3 accomplish? Well, it was able to address these novel questions, brand new questions that weren't on the internet, they weren't pre trained on, and it was able to answer those questions with good reasoning. So there was some aspect of kind of learning, right? But being able to take that and then apply it in a brand new way and continuously learn, sort of, not quite. And if we look at the actual competition, right? The actual competition has a bunch of stipulations, like you can only use certain amount of money to do this and a certain amount of time. So it was able to achieve a 75%, something like that. That wasn't the 85% that's human level. Now, when they let the AI continue and they let O3 keep going for like 16 hours, well, then it was able to surpass all those metrics. So again, now we have to decide on the definition and what are we using for some stipulations, right? Because I do think that we are moving forward with this. But let's look at one more definition. So this definition actually comes to us from ChatGPT itself. I fed it in. I said, based on what AI leaders and scientists say, create a suitable and impactful definition of what artificial general intelligence should be. And it responded by saying, a highly adaptable and autonomous system capable of understanding, learning, reasoning, and applying knowledge across a wide range of tasks at or beyond human level performance. AGI should operate with the ability to generalize its intelligence to new, unfamiliar contexts, demonstrating creativity, problem solving, and emotional intelligence. It must also align with ethical principles to ensure that its actions are safe, beneficial, and equitable for all of humanity, fostering global well being and progress. Okay, so that was a very nice definition there, a very nice explanation coming to us from ChatGPT. So it's nice to see that the AI is giving us this, right? And you can see how it's trying to be very diplomatic in that the way that it's expressing it. But I really appreciated the fact that it said learning. So that was a key component, being able to learn and then apply. It was also nice that it talked about emotional intelligence, being able to apply not just logic, but then also bringing in aspects of emotion. Because when you think about it, well, that is what makes us human, right? Because then we have to think about ethical considerations, and it's not just about logic, but it's also about ethics and emotion and putting them all together to make a decision. So that leads us to all sorts of other things as far as thinking about, if we're talking about having the intelligence of a human, do we also need to consider aspects of consciousness, of morality? Now we complicate things to a whole other level, but that's going to be important for making decisions, making intelligent decisions in this real world. Because if we're not talking about any aspects of morality or ethics, well, then we're just simply talking about math. And I don't think math in itself is a function of just intelligence, right? I think intelligence is made up of much more. I think math is, of course, a super important aspect of intelligence, but there's all these other components. So now we have to consider that, because let's look at a simple example, right? If we're talking about a car and we want an intelligent car, an autonomous car, well, part of its intelligence will need to be able to decide about making these ethical decisions as far as, what if the brakes go out and it's going to move forward? Should it run into this area where there's a bunch of people, or should it go over here? Or maybe there's only one person, right? Still both bad, terrible things, but it's going to have to make a decision. So we have to put in these ethical aspects to it. So again, you can see how it's a complicated thing. There's lots of different things to consider and to apply to this. So thinking about that, thinking about aspects of creativity, because that's another thing that people like to throw in there, or, oh, it's not AGI at all if there's no creativity. But now you run into another debate. I would argue that, yeah, AI is fully creative right now. And so some might argue and say, well, no, all it's doing is it's pre-trained on stuff. So it might take this story and this story and this story and put it together, and there's your new story. That's not real creativity. I would be like, yeah, of course it is. That's exactly what creativity is taking multiple different things and putting it together in a brand new way. To me, that's a definition of creativity. So you have this type of story, this type of story, this type of artwork, this type of artwork. We put it together. Of course, now AI, we can see it more logically as mathematically because you're seeing, oh yeah, that's this artwork and this artwork. And because it's not going through a human, now it seems kind of robotic because it's being put together. But that's creativity. That's how creativity works. At least as far as I'm concerned. Same thing with stories, same things with movies, with videos, with images. It's all a combination of other stuff. So there's that argument for creativity itself, which I think the AI already fully has. Different levels, of course, it can continue to improve, but we have creativity in the images and videos, audio, all sorts of different software that's out there that can make us images, videos, and audio. So I think creativity is definitely a part of that. That can continue to be enhanced for sure. But now getting back to this idea, this definition of AGI, there is another explanation of the pathway to get to AGI that I want to make sure that everyone is fully aware of as well. And this comes to us directly from OpenAI as well, from Sam Altman. This comes to us from an article from Forbes magazine. This originally came out July 16th, 2024. And here, what we have are the 5 steps towards artificial general intelligence. So, this comes from OpenAI. So, this is their metrics for when we actually achieve real AGI. So, level 1 is conversational AI. So this is what's usually referred to as the current level, right? We have ChatGPT. You can go in there and have a regular conversation. You can go in there and use your cell phone and have what feels like a very realistic conversation through the advanced voice mode with emotion, with engagement, with understanding. So that's definitely we've definitely passed that because we have that fully, whether that's via text, whether that's via voice, that's definitely has been achieved. So that's level 1. From there, we move on to level 2, which it's described as reasoning. So here they define it as being able to perform basic problem solving tasks comparable to a human with a doctorate level education, but without access to any tools. So one could make a strong argument that yes, we've achieved that as well through this O3 model from OpenAI, that it has a PhD capability as far as being able to answer all sorts of different questions. Um, Now, there's lots of different ways to measure that, right? Answering certain questions, yes, it's pre-trained on that, so that's still okay if we're talking about aspects of general intelligence in general. But then being able to solve some of these novel questions, like it did in the test, then other things like now with this new model, it's rated as being such a superb coder that it's better than 99% of coders that are out there in one of the tests that it performed. And in other tests, it scored really, really well, outperforming all other models that are out there. So, yes, I really think that we've done that as far as its capabilities and what it can do right now as far as reasoning. And that's only improving because, as was demonstrated in this test, that, hey, giving it more time, it was able to produce even greater results. So after 16 hours, it reached this high level of 87%. What would happen if we let it go even longer? What would happen if we gave it more compute power and more capability in itself without even changing the model at all, just giving it more power in general, more compute? What would happen then? So there's lots of things developing here with that reasoning aspect. So I would say that yes, we've totally hit that level as well. So now we get to the third level where it talks about level 3 here, autonomous AI. So this is that AI systems known as agents can operate autonomously on a user's behalf for several days. Imagine having some of those around your business while you take a vacation. All right. So this is agents, right? AI agents. Now, OpenAI has already come out and started talking about this. So has Microsoft with their Copilot, and so has Google to some extent. They're all talking about how, hey, this is coming. This is coming, and this was definitely going to be here. It's already started to trickle out, but it's really going to be here at the beginning of next year where you'll have agents. And what does that mean? That means that now this AI can have true power to do more things for you, right? Of course, under your control, but now you'll be able to tell it things such as, hey, go do this. So it will be able to do a multi step process to accomplish a task for you. So the task that they usually show for demonstration is like, hey, book a reservation for me. So I don't want you to just book a reservation for me. I want you to book a reservation for my next vacation that's in February. Now, the AI would be smart enough to go and look at your schedule that it would have access to, see where you put in vacation time. Then it would go and it would search, let's say, 100 different agencies to find you the best price of what you want for the location that you want, that you've told it already. And then it would give you the best ideas, best offers. And then it could go in and access your bank account and actually pay for those things if you give it permission to. So this is that multi-step agentic capability where it could do all these things. Now, this is really important for academia because I've actually seen a demonstration of this where this guy was building a business. And so one of the things that he needed to do was he had to take this online course that had to do with some requirements where you go through and it's just about health and safety, something like that. And so this guy demonstrated and he made a stipulation. He said, I went through this by myself, but I wanted to see if the AI agent could do it for me. And so, yeah, he told the AI agent, go to this course, go to this learning management system, right? Log in for me, go to this course and go through every single PowerPoint that's on there and then take the multiple choice question at the end. And it was able to do that. It actually went through all these different steps, and yeah, I passed it and got perfect score. So you can see the implications of these agentic things, right? One for academia, one for business in general. It's going to be a very powerful thing. So now, if this is already going to happen, and we've had previews from Google, from multiple agencies saying that yeah, this is coming. So now you can say that yeah, we've basically reached that level. So that's already level 3. So how much more is there? Well, let's go on to the next level and see. So now the next level is level 4, and this is termed as innovating AI. So these AI systems can develop innovations independently, not just running your processes, but improving them, not just following rules and making predictions of the next word, but critically thinking about how to do a better job and achieving the goal in a more effective and efficient way. Wow, that would be really powerful. And my predictions is that that's exactly what we're going to have in 2025. I think that the AIs will definitely be able to do that. We're already starting to receive reports as far as AI being used to really assist us in research, not just helping us with like putting the research together, writing up some of the different aspects, but actually going through and doing research with us, of actually going through and doing analysis of the results. This is the future as far as the full capabilities of AI being able to conduct actual research and give us actual results so that we can move forward. And I know some of you will be definitely hesitant on that, right? But the thing is that by going through and using this, if done correctly, this can help catapult us many, many years into the future by being able to do this research in conjunction with us. So we still need to be the ones that are in the loop and verifying the results, verifying the process, ensuring that things are going in the right way, ensuring that ethical aspects are still being followed. We still need to be part of that. But this is definitely what's going to be happening in the next year. So you can look for that. Again, we're already having reports of that happening. So that's going to be a major part to the AI's development. So that's level 4, which I say is definitely within reach, right? Since we're touching it right now, I think that's definitely right there. So that's level 4. So that means there's only one level left as far as this overall definition of what OpenAI has expressed dealing with what full AGI means. So let's look at this final level. Final stage of super AI involves artificial intelligence that is capable of performing the work of an entire organization. Every person you currently have, every function carried out, performed by agents that work together, make improvements, and run everything required without a human in sight. So now you see how it's kind of jumping back and forth here. It's saying now super AI. Well, that's a whole other thing. That's beyond AGI, because AGI is artificial general intelligence. Super AI, that would be where now we have artificial super intelligence, meaning that it is beyond the human's capability. So that's a whole other level. So I think now we're getting to something separate, right? And I don't see that happening as quickly, right? I still see that happening relatively soon, within a matter of years, not decades, not like some scientists are predicting. But now let's go back to what we're talking about right now with AGI, right? So in essence, AGI would be to achieve level 4, which, like I said, we're tipping our toes into already, because in essence, we've hit those other 3 levels and we're going into level 3/4 right now into the new year in 2025. So now we need to take a step back and what does this really mean? So does this mean we are at AGI or not? The way that I would express this, and I've tried to think of a good analogy, because that's part of good teaching, right? Is when we have some good examples, good analogy here. And the thing is, this is all very new, so we don't have good examples for this. But the analogy I came up with is that AGI would be like being able to obtain food, right? So what does that mean? Now we have to think about, well, what do we classify as food? The way I see it is with the O3 results, the O3 achievements. Now we have salt, right? That's what we're having right now is salt. That's what we've achieved. Now is salt a food? Uh, yes, but not really, right? It's a mineral, so it's a component of food, but it's not quite food. But yet, man, that's definitely an indicator of what's coming, right? Because that's an essential aspect of having good food is having some salt. So, yes, we're in that process. Another analogy that I have is AGI is the swimming pool, and right now we are running over the diving board. So there's no stopping at this point, right? We're on our way. We're jumping off of that diving board. We're basically bouncing on that diving board right now and about to go in. So that's where we're at. I don't think we're fully in it. We're not fully swimming, but we're definitely in that progress. So it's right around the corner. I hate that phrase of right around the corner because I think we're in it, right? We're in that process. So we're in the pool area and we're getting ready to dive head deep in there. So then that leads us to the final aspect here of what does that mean? What does that mean for the regular person? What does that mean for academia? What does that mean for business? What does that mean for society in the future? There's a lot of unknowns here. This has never happened before, right? This is all brand new. So there are a lot of things for us to contemplate. Now, even when this happens, let's say tomorrow we hit AGI. I don't think it'll be tomorrow. I definitely think it'll be by 2030, if not sooner. So what does that mean for society? Well, it means a lot of things. One is that it won't happen instantaneous, meaning that it's not going to be this thing where, yes, AGI is fully here, so that changes everything all at once. No, it's going to slowly start to change different sectors and different areas. And so one sector might start to lose some jobs while another sector doesn't affect it at all. And so we as a society need to consider these things because what will happen is that since it's not affecting all of society, then the politicians, the regulators, they won't really react because it's everything is going super slow, right? So we as a society and academia and everyone else, we need to understand this. We need to be researching this and then push that and say, hey, no, this is affecting this group, but it's going to be affecting all other groups very quickly. So we need to do action now. We need to come up with solutions. Now, I'm going to be making another video that's talking about some of the economic aspects of AI and the future and what are some possible things we can do. But this is something that we need to start pushing because it's not just about economics. It's also about people's livelihoods, their value. What will they do? How do we get fulfillment? How is this going to be affecting society and the way that we interact with one another? If an AI has AGI and has the same intelligence and capabilities and emotional connection as a human, well, then there's going to be relationships that develop with humans. Is that appropriate? Is that okay? How far is okay? So there's all sorts of different things dealing with AI and AGI and how this is going to affect everyone involved. Yes, there's a money aspect, but then there's also things like what do we do about school? Should we still be teaching the same things? What are we preparing students for? Right? Especially we need to look at specific sectors. If there's going to be certain sectors that are, yeah, AI is going to completely take over and there won't be jobs in there, then what are we doing still graduating people in those fields? We need to take a step back and really look at those things. Hey, yeah, we need to totally slow that down or eliminate. We need to concentrate over here, or we need to look at new programs, new things that will help the people, that will help students to be able to succeed in the future, that there will actually be jobs going into the future in this section, as opposed to just saying, oh, let's just close our eyes, whatever you want to do. No, we need to be more forthcoming with this, right? More purposeful, and really look at what we can do in academia to ensure success going forward. There's a lot going on here. I don't have all the answers, but what I want is for us to think about this, for us to discuss, to us to push this back to our academic settings at the university, at the high schools, in public discourse, in business, in policies, and the politicians, everything, all sorts of government. We all need to be having this discussion and looking forward about what this implies and how we can ensure a better future, as opposed to everyone losing jobs and everyone having all sorts of issues with society. Together, by having these conversations, we can move forward. So I look forward to going through your comments, reading, and seeing what we come up with together. I appreciate your time, and remember, learning is for life.